Hey everyone, welcome back to Practice English Studio.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you trusting us with your time.
We're grateful to have you as part of our community.
Precisely.
Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, I want you to picture this. And I think everyone has had this fear at some point. You've done the work, you've got the grammar down, you have all your vocabulary flashcards, perfectly memorized. You walk into a coffee shop, you're feeling good, ready to go,
Confident.
totally confident. You open your mouth, say something that is 100% grammatically correct, straight from the textbook, and the whole room just goes silent.
Ugh, the dreaded silence. That pause that feels like an eternity.
Exactly. The barista is just kind of staring. The person behind you is shifting their feet. You didn't say anything wrong? Not really. You just sounded off.
Like a time traveler.
Yeah, like a time traveler from 1950. And it's that nightmare scenario, right? It really exposes this huge gap between learning a language and actually, living in a language.
Oh, for sure. You can absolutely ace the test and still fail the coffee order.
And that gap is exactly where we're going today. Idioms we actually use, the difference between textbook English and the English people are actually speaking right now in 2026. Dissecting social failure and social success.
Social failure sounds a bit harsh, but it's true. I mean, the whole mission here isn't about passing a test. It's about social calibration.
Social calibration, I like that.
Yeah, it's knowing the difference between the dictionary definition of a word and the vibe of a word. You can be technically right, but socially, well, weird.
And we want to avoid socially weird. So let's go back to that coffee shop. He's us today. He's smart, he studied hard, and he just wants to have a nice little moment with the barista.
Right, just some small talk.
Yeah, and show off his idiom skills.
Yeah.
And it's pouring rain outside, it's a total deluge. So he looks at her, full confidence, and says, "It's raining cats and dogs outside."
Oh.
And the result? The barista just stares. No laugh, no, "Oh yeah, it sure is." Just confusion. So I need you to break this down, because if I look in a dictionary, raining cats and dogs means raining heavily. Why is this a social failure?
This is the ultimate example of what I call the textbook trap. English teachers, they love this phrase. It's visual, it's memorable, so it gets taught in like every beginner class.
Right.
But native speakers, we basically retired this phrase decades ago.
It sounds like something a cartoon character would say.
Or your great-grandmother. When you use it in 2026, you're not really commenting on the weather. You are inadvertently commenting on your own language background. You are flagging yourself as someone who learned English from a very dusty book.
So the silence from the barista,
Yeah,
that's her trying to figure out if you're joking or something.
exactly. She's running this mental calculation like, is he being ironic? Is this a dad joke? Or does he genuinely think this is how we talk? And that split second of confusion just kills the vibe. You wanted connection, but you actually created a disconnect.
That's fascinating. We think of language errors as, grammar mistakes, like using the wrong verb tense. But you're saying the bigger error here is a vibe error.
100%. Social fluency is about predictability. When you use a phrase nobody expects, you break the flow. You become an outsider.
Break up with your old textbooks. If a phrase sounds like it belongs in a nursery rhyme, maybe keep it out of the coffee shop.
Yeah, leave the cats and dogs at home.
Okay, but let's raise the stakes. We're moving from a coffee shop to a dinner party. And not just any dinner party. His boss is there.
This isn't just social anymore, it's professional.
I think we all know that feeling, that anxiety. You're holding a drink, trying to look smart, just terrified you're going to say something dumb.
Yeah.
You can't just relax. You're on a tightrope. So he says he didn't want to screw it up.
Screw it up.
Now, I have to ask, in a professional setting like this, isn't that a bit slangy? Shouldn't he say, "I didn't want to make an error"?
Well, you could say that, but you would sound like a robot. Make an error is so clinical, it sounds like a printer jam. Screw it up has emotional weight. It admits the anxiety.
It's messier.
It's messier, and that's why it works when you say, I really don't want to screw this up. You're showing a little vulnerability. You're admitting you care. And even with a boss, that humanity builds trust way more than robotic perfection.
Okay, he's sitting there just trying not to screw it up.
Mhm.
Then the boss does that thing that bosses do. He brings up work, this new AI project.
And the room goes cold.
Everyone freezes.
Hmm.
And the boss, what do you think?
Put on the spot.
Yes. Let's dig into that idiom. Put on the spot. It's such a visceral image.
It really is. I mean, think about a literal spotlight hitting you on a dark stage. You can't hide. To be put on the spot means you have to perform right now with no prep.
Is it always a negative thing?
Not always malicious, but it's always high pressure. It's the immediacy that defines it. If I email you a question, you have time to think, to draft, to delete. You're safe. If I ask you across the dinner table in front of everyone, I am removing that safety net.
And for language learners, this is like a double nightmare. You don't just have to have an opinion, you have to form it in a second language instantly.
Which triggers that fight or flight response. Your heart rate goes up, your palms get sweaty.
So is there value in just identifying that feeling?
Huge value. If you can say to yourself, okay, I'm being put on the spot right now, it actually helps manage the panic. You realize the stress isn't because your English is bad. It's because the situation is difficult. It validates the whole feeling.
Okay, so he's in the spotlight, everyone's watching. The textbook advice might be to say something like, well, allow me to elaborate on the various facets of the project, to buy time.
Which would be terrible. He'd lose the room in a second.
Instead, he decides to cut to the chase.
Total power move.
I love this phrase. It's from the movies, right?
It is. From silent films, you'd have these long, dramatic scenes, and the audience would just get bored. They were waiting for the end of the movie, for the action.
The car chase or the foot chase.
Exactly. So cut to the chase literally meant Mr. Editor slice the film and jump straight to the action.
That is so cool. So when we use it in business, we're basically saying, skip the boring part, give me the action.
It signals respect for time. And time is the most valuable currency in business. If you ramble, you are stealing time. If you cut to the chase, you're giving time back.
But let me play devil's advocate. Is it rude? Can I say to my boss, hey, cut to the chase?
Ooh, that's a dangerous game. You have to be careful with the power dynamic. You usually don't tell your superior to cut to the chase. That implies they're boring you.
Right, that sounds like a firing offense.
But you can use it to govern yourself. You can say, I know we're short on time, so I'll cut to the chase. That shows you're self-aware and efficient.
Okay, he just says, the project is great, but it's too expensive. Boom.
Clear, decisive, honest.
And the boss loves it. He doesn't fire him. Instead, he uses a phrase that I think is the absolute glue of the corporate world. He says, let's touch base on Monday.
Touch base, the ultimate safety net for professional conversation.
Why do we love this phrase so much? Why not just say, let's speak or let's meet?
Because let's meet sounds heavy. It implies an agenda, a calendar invite, a 30-minute block of your time. It feels like work. Touch base is intentionally vague. It's low commitment.
It's the chill version of a meeting.
It could be a text, it could be a 2-minute call, it could be a quick chat by the coffee machine. It just lowers the barrier to entry.
It signals, we need to stay in sync, but I'm not demanding a huge chunk of your day.
It's the lubricant of office communication. I'll touch base with you tomorrow. Did you touch base with the client? I mean, if you use this, you just sound like an insider.
So he survived the dinner party. He knew he was put on the spot, he cut to the chase, and he arranged to touch base. That's a masterclass in executive presence right there.
He went from cats and dogs to CEO material in one evening.
But life isn't just about work. The source material then shifts us to a more casual setting: friends, health, personal preferences. This is where I feel like language learners can often sound a bit clinical.
Clinical is the perfect word, or just overly polite.
Right. So the scenario is Sarah isn't feeling well. The phrase we all learned in school, I remember this one vividly, is I am feeling under the weather.
And let's be clear, under the weather is not wrong. If you say it, people will understand you. It's not a total disaster like cats and dogs. But it does sound a bit vintage, like something you'd write in an excuse note to a Victorian headmaster.
So what's the 2026 update? What would Sarah say?
She'd say, I think I'm coming down or something.
Coming down with something. It's so much more active, isn't it?
It captures the process of getting sick. You know, that scratch in your throat, that heavy feeling in your head. Under the weather is a status report. Coming down with something is a story. It feels more immediate.
And it's so useful because it's vague.
Mm-hmm.
Something. You don't have to explain if it's a cold or the flu or just exhaustion.
It is the perfect social shield. I can't go out tonight. I think I'm coming down with something. Nobody questions that. It is the universal get out of jail free card.
Speaking of getting out of things, let's talk about saying no. It's not my cup of tea.
The quintessential British idiom.
I feel like I hear this a lot from learners because they think it sounds, sophisticated.
And it does, but in a very Downton Abbey kind of way. It's very polite, very distant. It sounds like you're trying really hard not to offend your great aunt about her knitting.
So how does a modern person reject something without sounding like a period drama?
We soften it and we shorten it. We just say, it's not really my thing.
It's not really my thing.
Notice the difference. Cup of tea sounds like you've judged the quality of the thing itself. Not my thing just implies a lack of personal connection.
It kind of shuts down the argument, doesn't it?
That's the key. If you say, I don't like jazz, people might try to convince you, oh, you just haven't heard the right album. But if you say, jazz isn't really my thing, you're putting up a soft wall. You're saying, it's fine for you, but it's not for me.
It's the path of least resistance. And that seems to be a theme here. Real English often seeks the path of least resistance.
Efficiency and emotional protection. That's exactly what these idioms are doing. They are tools to make social interactions smoother.
Okay, we've covered a lot. I want to try something now, just to see if this is sinking in. Let's do a little live simulation based on the practice scenarios in the source. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I'm ready. I won't screw it up.
Okay. Scenario 1. You're in a meeting. It's dragging on. A colleague, let's call him Bob, is talking for 15 minutes about the sand on his beach vacation. You have a deadline. Do you say, A, Bob, please stop raining cats and dogs? Or B, Bob, that sounds amazing, but can we cut to the chase on the budget?
Well, if I say A, Bob is going to think I'm having a stroke. Raining cats and dogs makes 0 sense there, so it has to be B. But notice the softener you added. That sounds amazing, but...
You have to validate the sand first.
You have to validate the sand, then you cut to the chase. That is the socially calibrated way to interrupt someone.
Okay, scenario 2. You wake up Tuesday. You are just done. Not dying, but you cannot face the office. You call your manager. Do you say A, I am feeling unpleasantly ill today? Or B, I think I'm coming down with something?
Unpleasantly ill is way too much information. It's graphic. It sounds like you ate bad seafood. Option B, I'm coming down with something, is the count. Your manager knows exactly what that means. It means I'm not coming in, no more questions.
It's amazing how much work these little phrases do for us. They navigate the social world.
They're tools. If you use the wrong tool like cats and dogs, You make the job harder. You draw attention to the tool itself. If you use the right tool touch base, cut to the chase, the tool disappears and you just have a smooth interaction.
I think that's the key takeaway here. We're not trying to trick people into thinking we're native speakers for an ego boost. We're just trying to remove the friction from communication.
Exactly. When you remove the friction, you get connection. And that's what we're all looking for.
We are getting near the end of our time. And there's one last idiom from the source that fits this moment perfectly.
Call it a day.
To stop working. To finish the task.
It's such a satisfying phrase, let's call it a day. It implies we've done good work, we've achieved our goal, and now we can rest. It's a really positive way to end things.
So before we officially call it a day, let's do a quick synthesis. If you, listening, want to update your social software today, what are the top takeaways?
Okay, let's lock this in. First, vulnerability. You screw it up when you want to admit you're worried. It builds trust. Second, pressure. Recognize when you're put on the spot. Just naming it helps you handle the stress. Third, efficiency. Don't be afraid to cut to the chase. It shows confidence.
Right.
Fourth, connection. Touch base is your go-to for keeping communication open without being too formal. And finally, the casual no, not really my thing, and coming down with something. Those are your polite shields for social protection.
That is a powerful toolkit. And honestly, just swapping out one or two of these can change how people perceive you.
Absolutely. You sound less like a student reciting a lesson and more like a colleague just having a conversation.
So here is my challenge for you, listening right now. I want you to reflect on your last week. When was the last time you were put on the spot?
That's a good word.
Did you freeze? Did you ramble? Or did you have the language to maybe cut to the chase?
And if you didn't, don't worry. You didn't screw it up. You just didn't have the update installed yet. Now you do.
Exactly. Now you have the tools. So go out there, touch base with a friend, try a new phrase, and just see if you can feel the difference in the connection.
And remember, nobody talks about cats and dogs anymore. Let the animals sleep.
Let them sleep. On that note, I think we can officially call it a day.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Sharing the podcast is a great way to help other learners find us.
Thanks for listening.
Take care.